This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Today marks the kickoff of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we are launching a month of special stories highlighting the culture, history, and issues important to the Bay Area's AAPI community. There are more than 6 million people of Asian or Pacific Islander descent in California. And here in the Bay Area, the latest numbers from the Census Bureau show about 1/3 of people are part of the AAPI community. And we begin with a powerful story of one family's journey to understand their heritage. It all started with our original report 1 year ago. Ryan Yamamoto brought us the story of a cache of photos taken in 1942. The recently uncovered images show the stoic faces of Japanese Americans only days before they were shipped off to internment camps. Ryan is joining me now in studio after airing this original story. And what's so amazing is that people saw the story and then reached out to you after recognizing some of the photos.
Well, and that was the goal when we did that original story. We were hoping to connect people to their family history, a history that maybe they had no idea actually happened. And this past month, two cousins from Chicago decided to make the journey to Northern California, all with the hopes of learning more about their own family history.
It's like traveling back in time, an adventure these two cousins, Peggy and Candace, decided to make together.
Piecing together bits and pieces of what we know.
Flying in from Chicago to the Bay Area to make the long drive.
Just park here?
To Marysville, California. The journey taking them here.
Look at the field of yellow flowers.
To the Arboga Assembly Center Memorial, where in 1942, thousands of Japanese Americans were rounded up before being sent to the internment camps.
This is my mother. This is my mother. And this is my grandfather. And this is my grandmother.
The pilgrimage into their past, sparked by a story we aired last year.
These handsome young men.
On the rediscovery of these long-lost photos, taken by a Marysville photographer named Clyde Bush, who unknowingly documented a piece of American history more than 80 years ago.
This is our grandfather. Okay. Kazuma Hayashi. I saw the first video when my brother sent it to me. He lives in San Francisco. And he lives in the San Francisco area. He forwarded it to me, and then I looked at it and immediately spotted my mother.
Women.
Mom, there she is.
I spotted her, and then I spotted my grandmother.
Oh, there she is. Grandma.
And my brother was surprised because he had not spotted my grandmother.
So this is Grandma, and you notice she's all dressed up. She's got her suit on.
And for local historians Sue Senger-Moyers and David Reed,
Every time we look at these, I feel like it's the first time.
it is a chance to help Peggy and Candace put the pieces of their past puzzle together.
Our grandfather Hayashi, and there's a couple pictures, and then our grandmother,
There's two.
grandmother, so husband and wife.
But also learn more about the faces in the photos that they keep.
That's my mother, and this is her good childhood friend, Himeko. Her mother was my mother's Japanese teacher.
Your mother's Japanese teacher. Well, I'm looking at a family's private history that needs to be shared because these are real people and this is what happened to them. And so that's the story we want to tell.
Oh, it's been incredible just spending some time with them today and learning the backstory
Right.
on some people that prior to today were just faces and a bunch of negatives.
This is our grandmother on our mother's side.
Nobuko Hayashi.
For Peggy and Candace, a chance to understand their own history and to pass it on.
If we don't pass it down, it's going to be lost, right? If we don't make the record, at least keep the record straight, get this information out, it's lost. And that's hard to think about.
Where they will return to Chicago, knowing their story is well preserved.
It's really something that they're being recognized, that what happened to them, it means something now.
Finding meaning by taking a journey into the past to help future generations understand today.
And both Candace and Peggy were hoping to identify even more family members, several aunts who were in their teens at the time. But they only found those 4 original photos, their grandfather, their grandmother, Peggy's mother, and her best friend. And what we found out is maybe because they were younger, those aunties, there's 6 of them.
Right.
They weren't 18. So only the people who had got their photos taken were over the age of 18 at the time. So for some reason, the younger kids did not take their photos.
This is so touching. And now, you know, little backstory, you and I sit next to each other in the newsroom, and I saw you taking so much time and care and compassion for every single edit that you made to show those photos. And that was your exact intention, to have at least one family connect. So what was that like when you got that phone call from someone in Chicago that saw your story?
I mean, it meant a lot to me, you know, because here are these photos, and you can see it on their faces, right? They're very stoic because they know in a couple days they're getting shipped off to internment camps. But at the same time, look how everyone's dressed.
Yeah.
They dressed in their Sunday best, and they wanted to look good for those photos. And so when one family did reach out, and there were several families that did, but these 2 were the only 2 to follow up. When they said they're coming, I said, I'm coming with you, whether you like it or not. No, but it was touching to see them kind of retrace their past. And even though they didn't find anything new, for them just to walk around the town to see this is where it all started for our family, it was a discovery for them.
A work of art. I'm so glad we sit near each other so I can watch you in action.
Yes.
All right, look forward to more. Thank you, Ryan. All right, and we will be bringing you stories like this all month long in our newscast and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. And we'll be posting all of our stories on a special AAPI section of our website, kpix.com. All right, we are also following May Day protests across the Bay Area.